If you are an American citizen and teeter-tottering around the idea of moving to Canada, please keep watching this video, but before watching, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications. Everybody knows that Canada is a top destination for immigrants from all over the world. In fact, every year, hundreds of thousands of people apply to immigrate to Canada. But what about Americans? In fact, the United States of America is always among the top 10 sources of immigration to Canada. In this video, what I try to explain is your options as a US citizen to immigrate to Canada. Keep in mind, this video is specifically for the US citizens, not for permanent residents of the United States or green card holders, and not other nations. However, majority of what I'm explaining here also applies to other people. By the way, when you're immigrating to Canada, keep in mind that you need to see a lot of these faces. Canada accepts immigrants from all over the world, so you will see people with accent, you will see people with different colors, and especially when it comes to a city like Toronto, Vancouver, or Montreal, or Calgary, you will probably see a lot of different nations and races. When we talk about moving to Canada, we need to see if you intend to move on a temporary basis or you want to move permanently. If you want to move on a temporary basis, as an American citizen, there are many benefits for you in there. For example, you can travel to Canada without a visa or even an electronic travel authorization. When you are traveling to Canada, usually a border services officer will allow you to stay in Canada for up to 6 months. However, when you reach to the end of the 6 months, if you want to stay for a longer period of time, you need to apply for an extension of stay in Canada. If you intend to study in Canada, you can apply for admission from a Canadian university or college. However, that university or college needs to be a designated learning institution by the immigration authorities of Canada. When you receive that admission, you can travel to Canada, and at a port of entry, the immigration authorities will issue you a study permit and you can come and study in Canada. Of course, another option is that you can apply online, and when you apply online, then they will review your case, and if they approve you, they issue a study permit and you can come to Canada and study in Canada. If you intend to work, there are many opportunities for you because under USMCA or CUSMA, there are many exemptions for American citizens that they can work in Canada without a labor market impact assessment letter from the employment authorities or ESDC. However, there are so many different avenues for working in Canada. In certain situations, you do not qualify for USMCA or CUSMA. In certain situations, you could qualify for a program called International Mobility Program or IMP, which allows you to work in Canada without an LMIA, but you are treated just like any other nation. I don't want to go into the details of work permit. Believe me, I can talk about work permit for several hours and explore different options. I've had many American clients in the past. Some of those American clients, they applied for work permit. Sometimes we referred to International Mobility Program as an option for them because it allowed them to stay in Canada for a long period of time. What about permanent options? If you want to stay in Canada permanently, in that situation, there are 3 major avenues for you: family reunification, economic immigration, and refugees. Yes, you heard it right, refugees. Generally speaking, every year, anywhere between 300 to 700 Americans file for asylum in Canada. However, the success rate for Americans is very low. About probably 2% of them succeed. In other words, roughly speaking, anywhere between 5 to 20 Americans become permanent residents in Canada because they filed for refugee and their refugee application was approved. If we want to be realistic, we need to focus on the other two options. One of those options is family reunification. Family reunification means either you are being sponsored by your children to Canada or you are sponsored by your spouse or common law partner, which the latter is quite common among Americans. They get married to Canadians or they are in a common law relationship with a Canadian and that Canadian sponsors them to Canada and they come to Canada. I've had American clients in the past and I still do. I have active cases of spousal sponsorship. Why this happens? Obviously, Canadian culture is very close to the American culture. Roughly speaking, about 20 to 25 million visits from Canada happen to the United States every single year, and about 14 to 16 visits from Americans to Canada happens every single year. Of course, some people visit the United States multiple times, or some of them visit Canada multiple times, but generally speaking, that's the gist of it in terms of the number of visits. And those visits mean interaction, the language is very similar, they speak with each other, they fall in love, and they get married, or they decide to enter a common law relationship. The process for sponsorship is relatively easy. However, the immigration authorities of Canada need to make sure that the marriage or common law relationship is not primarily for moving to Canada, and this relationship is a genuine relationship. I can talk about this again for a very long time. I have another video about spousal sponsorship. You can watch it. I have several articles about the subject as well. The other option for immigration to Canada is economic immigration. If you're an American citizen and you want to apply for immigration to Canada under economic options, your processing is quite similar to the processing of all other nations. But of course, most of you, English is your first language, and that will really help. The most popular option for immigration under economic immigration is called express entry. In fact, express entry is not an immigration option. It's a system that covers three major immigration options: federal skilled worker class, federal skilled trades class, and also Canadian experience class. This is an online system. It focuses highly on your education, your knowledge of English or French languages, your age, your background in terms of work, and if everything falls into place, then you can apply under the express entry system. We also have some business immigration options like startup visa, and that's for people who are innovative and they have an idea that approved organizations by the immigration authorities of Canada will support that idea, then you can immigrate to Canada. We also have an option for athletes and artists in general. It's called federal self-employed class. If you are a self-employed artist or athlete, then you can apply for immigration to Canada under this program. Some pilot programs are also out there under economic class, like rural and northern immigration pilot and Atlantic immigration pilot. It's outside the scope of this talk, but if you receive a work permit from an employer in those areas, then you could immigrate to Canada. All of those options that I explained, they are federal immigration options. However, we also have provincial immigration options. This means that you are targeting a province in Canada. Now, interestingly enough, Canada doesn't have states, they have provinces, and the relationship between provinces and the federal government in Canada is similar to the relationship that states in the United States and the federal government of the United States have. However, authority of provinces in Canada are a bit less than the authorities that a state has in the United States. If you are targeting a specific province in Canada and that province selects you under their entrepreneur programs or under their skilled worker programs, then you may immigrate to Canada with the help of the province, assuming that you do not qualify for federal options. Quebec is a different environment in terms of immigration to Canada. They have a special agreement with the federal government of Canada. It's called Quebec Accord, and it allows Quebec to select their own immigrants. That's why when you are applying under federal programs, you need to state that your destination is anywhere in Canada with the exception of the province of Quebec. If you want to apply to the province of Quebec, then you need to approach them, you need to submit your files, and if you get approved, then you receive something called CSQ, which is approval letter by the province of Quebec, and then later you can submit your application to the federal government and become a permanent resident of Canada. Quebec mostly tries to invite francophones to their province because French is their official language. The rest of Canada, their official language of provinces is English. However, French is also common in those provinces and they speak French. The only exception is the province of New Brunswick, which is the only bilingual province in Canada which supports both French and English equally. So let's say you succeed in your permanent residency application and you become a permanent resident. In that situation, you need to spend about 40%, at least 40% of your time in Canada to hold on to your permanent residency. Otherwise, you could lose your permanent residency. Obviously, if you commit a crime or you have some security issues, then you could lose your permanent residency on inadmissibility grounds. I don't want to go into the details of inadmissibility, but if you are trying to visit Canada, travel to Canada, you're trying to work in Canada, study in Canada, or immigrate to Canada, and for some reason you are inadmissible to Canada, you need to solve that inadmissibility issue first. Depending on your situation, you could apply for a record suspension, you could apply for rehabilitation, you could apply for ministerial relief or a temporary resident permit or humanitarian and compassionate consideration cases. And of course, we need to look into the details of the case, and then after interviewing the client, receiving all necessary documentation from them, we decide whether they can apply for an option that resolves their inadmissibility to Canada. One other thing that you need to know is that you do not really need to hire a professional to help you with immigration to Canada, but realistically speaking, the Canadian immigration system has become more and more complex, so more people decide to hire a person who can help them. If you decide to do that, make sure that that person is licensed, because this is illegal under the Immigration Act if somebody assists you in return of money, of course, and they are not licensed. The people who are licensed in Canada, they are divided into two major groups. First group are immigration attorneys or immigration lawyers, and the second group are immigration consultants. Immigration consultants, just like me, we are licensed through a body called ICCRC, which is given authority by the federal government to issue the licenses to certain people. Obviously, all these licensed people, whether they are lawyers or immigration consultants, they need to go through training, take tests, etc., to be able to represent you to the immigration authorities. In Quebec, we also have the notary publics of Quebec that could offer immigration services, and in Ontario, we have paralegals that under the immigration law, they may offer immigration services. However, under the Law Society of Ontario, the kind of services they can offer are limited. They usually cannot, to the best of my knowledge, get involved with filling out your forms and representing you to the immigration authorities. I try to recap everything in a short video. There's a lot more to immigration to Canada. I have plenty of videos and articles on my website settler.ca or on our YouTube channel that you can watch the videos or read the articles. And of course, if you have any questions, I will happily answer those questions. Thank you for watching my video. My name is Al Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I teach immigration consulting at Ashton College. I'm the author of 88 tips on immigration to Canada. You can find out your purchasing options by visiting 88tips.ca. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and enable notifications. See you soon.